As I've learned to make more of our food from scratch, there are a handful of recipes I truly wish I had learned to make sooner. Some just save us money, others taste so much better than store-bought, and a few do both. So I'm sharing 5 easy from scratch recipes that I think every beginner should know, and I hope they'll inspire you to maybe try one yourself. And if you have a favorite homemade staple, I'd love if you'd share it in the comments so I can learn from you too. So the first thing I wish I would have started making at home is my own lard. Hear me out for a second. What you buy at the grocery store is not the lard you can make at home, and it doesn't have the same health benefits. This stuff is cheap. It is made from pork fatback. I think I got this for around $1 for one of these, right? So if you can replace some of your cooking or baking with lard, you know, instead of using butters or oils, which are actually very expensive if you're buying the healthy ones these days. With this, you're going to save hundreds if you cook a lot from scratch every year. The problem is when you see lard on the grocery store counters, it's not the lard I'm going to be making today. That stuff is highly processed with a lot of chemicals in it, unfortunately, and I haven't even been able to find something like I can make at home at the grocery store no matter what. It's something our grandmothers cooked with, everyone used it. It's just got a bad reputation now for how it's processed, unfortunately. What takes a while is finding a good source of, you know, fatback for this. So I found a local farmer that raises pigs the right way on pastures. While the meat is expensive, this really is not, because most people are not buying it. So this is really cheap fatback, which is mostly made for more of your sauteing, and you can get something, I think it's called leaf something. I'll look it up and add it here, but it's leaf. I got one of those. I'm gonna try that next. That's more for your baking. It'll be odorless, completely white, and you won't smell any piggy, which is nice for more of your baking and, you know, cookies and stuff like that. And it's just so sad that animal fats have gotten such a bad reputation. I do feel like that's turning now. People are becoming more aware that we need saturated fats, and this has the same fatty acids in it that olive oil is praised for. You know, great for heart disease and our health, and just we really need it to absorb things like calcium, nutrients, and a lot of vitamins. So I'm super excited to finally have a good source of both meat and this. And this will really save us money where the meat is definitely more expensive. So let's give it a try. First step is just to cut the fat into really small pieces. If you can get it grounded, that would be even better, but unfortunately my farmer could not do that, and I just don't have a meat grinder yet. This just helps it break down into a liquid without burning, which you really don't want the burning. 1/4 cup of water goes in the bottom. You just kind of spread it out the best you can and turn it on low. After you start to see the fat liquefy and come out of the pieces, I turned my crock pot up to high, but I think this is all really going to depend on your own crock pot and how it cooks. You know, the goal is to kind of gently melt it without frying the tissue at all. I honestly think like almost a medium on a crock pot would do best, and it makes me want to get a newer version, maybe a Black Friday or wish list item. But I cooked mine for around 4 hours until just the pieces started to turn a light golden brown. You really do not want them to get crispy in there, or the lard will taste more porky, or it'll come back a little bit more yellow. Getting the right temperature as you melt the fat is really the most important part. I've seen other versions of where they do it on the stovetop or even in the oven, low and slow, which might allow a little bit more variability, and I'll try that next time until I get a new crock pot. This actually turned out really well. It turned pretty white in the refrigerator, which is what you're looking for. The more yellow it is after refrigeration means the more porky it's going to taste and smell. I would say it still has a slight porky taste to it and a little bit of a smell. So again, not the best thing for your baking, but that's expected when you're using pork fatback. So I think it turned out great for the first try. I'm really happy with it. I've used it with some eggs, any sauteing with meat, and it's also great for seasoning my cast iron. I would usually be using avocado oil, but this works better instead. Just wipe a little towel in this and then season the cast iron. It's been great for that. It will last 6 months in the fridge, which is a super long time, and even 12 months if you freeze it. If you're interested in getting your meat from a better source, maybe a local farmer, then I'm just gonna explain what I did in my process of finding ours. If not, just skip on through. We bought a deep freezer, a small one for Costco, I think about 180. It wasn't that much to be able to store it, and it actually fits a lot. I think we can buy more of the half cow, half pig and still be able to fit it in here, and we have another like freezer fridge in our garage as well. But I wanted to find a farmer that could supply beef, pork, and chicken, ideally eggs, but I couldn't find all three. I didn't want to be running to a different farmer for all of those. And my big thing was pork, because pork and chicken actually, because it's really hard to get good pasture-raised chicken from the grocery store, and it's impossible to get pasture or woodland raised pork from the grocery store. I can't find it anywhere, at least. So those were the most important things. At least you can get grass-fed beef at your grocery store, and usually it might not be as good, but it's still mostly grass-fed at least. So what I got, this is where I also store Azure cream and milk, because these are so much better. I store them in here and we take them out as needed. Also, what I could not find from the grocery store anymore were beef marrow bones. I got a lot of these, some knuckle bones to be making more bone broth. I haven't been able to make it because I haven't been able to find it, which has been really annoying, but I found it now. I'm gonna start making that again. I got some soup bones too for just doing some of those as fall comes up. And then, meat. So this is nice. I can order on a Friday or Monday. I usually go get my husband to go pick it up, or I can go pick it up at nearby. It's only 15 minutes. It's dropped off in a refrigerator or freezer, and we can easily pick it up, which makes it really simple. We don't have to go to the farm or anything. So what I got, again, focusing on pork because that is so hard to find good sources of pork. I got the leaf lard, which I'm going to try next. 2 more things of the pork fat back that I just used. And then some bacon. This is going to be so good. I'm going to order more of this, but this is really expensive, so I might have to wait more until we can actually save up for a half pig. I got a bunch of ground pork in here, a few sausages just to try them out. They weren't that expensive, and something nice for the mornings, and some bratwurst to have. I love boiling them, and in a little bit of water and beer. And then chicken, we've already used the chicken breast. Super, super good and tender. I know I cooked them right, but still, it definitely actually tasted different. I know these are better for us, but it's also nice when you can taste the difference. It was just super moist, not chewy, no tendons, super good. I also got 2 of their chicken thighs, which come in a 4-pack. I think these are bone in, I would imagine. And 1 big chicken to roast, which I think was around $28, so it's really not cheap, but it's really good, and I know it's better for us. The chickens are raised on pasture, so they're moved every day. Typically, they kind of follow the cows. They do rotational grazing on the land, and then the chickens kind of follow after, eating all the bugs, keeping the pests out of the pasture, which is also good for the beef. The pork, which we used to have a lot of good pigs raised in North Carolina, that is no longer the case, unfortunately, anymore. But one of the few that does raise them in woodlands. They are heritage pigs. They go in and they clear out the woods and eat acorns and the grass and all that good stuff in there. So raised the right way. Then for the beef, I got, here's some more beef knuckles for bone broth. I like the oxtail. I make this a lot in Korean oxtail soup. So I got one of those. Lots of ground beef and stew meat. We use a lot of that. And I got some short ribs these actually weren't a bad price, the short ribs. We're making, short rib like pasta this summer or this fall will be great. Yeah, a few stew meats. And I really think that's it with a lot of ground beef, of course. So I'm super excited to start eating on some of this. Again, you can already tell the difference in the chicken, and the pork fat turned out great for the lard. So we'll see how the rest of it goes, and I hope you'll join along for that. Another, and maybe the most critical thing to make from scratch at home is your own bread. Even an all-purpose yeasted bread you make is going to be better than almost anything you can buy at the grocery store. And it's just such a fun, evolving process that at least I've truly come to enjoy. It only takes maybe around 5 minutes occasionally throughout your day. It's not a huge time drainer, just you kind of have to be home to make it, and it just tastes worlds better. I truly don't even like the way store-bought bread tastes now. Here I'm making my favorite hamburger and hot dog bun recipe. It's more of a brioche style bun, super good, really nourishing as it's made with a lot of butter, milk, and eggs. And if you're going to commit to making bread, I think the most important thing is to get a $10 scale. That's essential, and it just makes it so much easier to mix it and to weigh the ingredients versus getting all those measuring cups and spoons out. A lot less messy. Slowly, also, I've just adjusted my family to like recipes more with half whole wheat. And if you use whole wheat flour from the grocery store, I found that nearly every recipe has worked fine if I just directly swap it out. For this recipe, you just want the dough really bouncy but not sticking to your finger when you press it in. Just do a few stretch and folds throughout the evening and it does the rest on the counter overnight. Ice cream is something I really try to always make at home because what you buy at the store is really expensive, and most of it, even the good stuff, like the stuff that you think the brands are great, they still have a little bit of questionable ingredients in them. I found that we like custard ice cream the best, which is made with egg yolks, and it typically, cream stuck in here, I'll have to get that out, always follows the same process of like warming your sugar up and then taking it off, putting a little bit in the egg mixture, and then putting it all back in. Today I'm gonna try my first at chocolate. I don't know, I've been really loving chocolate lately. So I'm gonna try to do that, and the first step is to melt the chocolate and the chocolate chips and the cacao powder. I'm trying to use cacao powder, which is a little bit better for you too. Get that mixed in, then add in the eggs, and it's so simple. I usually do it at night because it's easy to throw together without the kids around, and then it can set in the refrigerator overnight. So here I'm just warming up the cream and gonna put the cacao powder in. Let that all come together. And then add some chocolate chips. Like with hot chocolate, I think the frother will work a lot better with it. Try to froth that a little more. Now I'm just gonna dissolve the sugar and the milk and add it to the eggs. For custard ice cream, the most important part is just to add the little bit of warm milk to the eggs slowly to temper them. This prevents the egg proteins from going from a solid to a liquid too quickly, so it makes sure you get this smooth, velvety texture that you want instead of more of like a scrambled egg, which is not good for ice cream. It's all combined and heated to around 180 before you need to strain it. Make sure you strain it. And next time I'm going to maybe sift the cocoa powder before adding it in to prevent these like leftover lumps and waste. That is going to be so good. Like once you start eating homemade ice cream, you can't really go back. Might be the best one yet. Oh, this is gonna be good chocolate ice cream.
Look, I made it. I'm pinching it. Wow, I did all
For the first time, I'm gonna try to make mustard and ketchup at home. It's much cheaper to make it at home, and you can, like, mustard lasts forever in your fridge, and the ketchup I like to freeze kind of like barbecue sauce in big cubes and pull it out as I need it. But this is the first time making mustard. I have made ketchup before and it was really, really good. It's so much better. Even better once the tomatoes start to come in. Now I know condiments are not the most expensive thing on our grocery list, but they can add up, and a lot have hidden ingredients and usually way too much sugar. But the biggest reason that I like to make them from scratch is they taste just so much better. Mustard goes a long way when you're making it from scratch, and ketchup just tastes like tomatoes and not so much like sugar. I've made barbecue sauce on here numerous times. It's one of my favorite, and I think it actually is the thing that tastes so much better out of all of these. And by making them in extra large batches, it means your effort goes a really long way, and they can be defrosted in minutes. So even if you forget that you need it, it doesn't take long to take it out of the freezer. Ketchup is also just a few ingredients: tomato paste and sauce, garlic and onion powder, salt and pepper, brown and white sugar, and a dash of cinnamon. All really basic ingredients that you already likely have and probably buy in bulk. The mustard does need an extra step after it thickens for the first time. You need to add in some vinegar and let it reduce down again to whatever your desired texture is. If you like it more runny, just cook it a little bit less. I think the most important thing here is to use stainless steel when you're cooking it, as the mustard powder with all those acidic ingredients is just super strong and might, impact the taste if you're not using stainless steel. These silicone cubes are super handy too. I got them for baby purees, but so perfect for condiments. After I freeze them, I just pop them in a Ziploc bag and clean this for the next batch of condiments that I'm making. Turn it on. Pour it in.
What?
To make use out of all these delicious ingredients I've been making and stocking up on, we're gonna have a classic summer dish tonight of smashed burgers and corn with the best chocolate ice cream I've ever had. I love ketchup and mustard mixed into my burgers, so that always goes in with just a few spices and maybe a little bit of Worcestershire. I think the most important thing with burgers is to not overwork the meat too much. If you do add some ingredients in, it can make the meat tough. So just basic, even if it's not mixed that well, don't worry too much about it. That Maillard reaction, all the browning on a smash burger makes them so good, and usually my favorite type of burger. Okay, you guys first.
Me first. How good?
Thanks so much for spending some time in the kitchen with me. I hope you found a few interesting things for your kitchen. Don't forget to follow along for more and take care.